Today I'll be taking you through the Kodak EasyShare system and all of our Kodak EasyShare cameras. We call it the Kodak EasyShare system because that's truly what it is. All of our cameras are designed to be very easy to use, get good results, and you don't have to go through a bunch of screens every time you want to do something basic. To get real good quality with all of our Kodak cameras, you just put it in the automatic mode and you don't have to do much else. But there are some situations when you wouldn't want to use it in that mode. Once you take a picture, okay, and you decide you want to see what it looks like, you simply push this button called the review button, and then you can push this toggle switch to look at all the pictures that you have in the camera. Once you have an image in the camera, and I'm just going to show you something right now, you can actually go through and you can actually edit the picture right on the camera. So you go into the menu screen and you touch edit, and then you can say crop it, and what you can do is use the zoom button and you can zoom in. Let's say, for example, I made a mistake and I had my finger over the flash, and you can see I have a dark picture here. So we'll go back into review, then we'll push menu, we'll go back down to edit picture, okay, and then we go down to where it says Kodak Perfect Touch. Push the enter button, and it's automatically going to repair that picture to give us a better picture. So the share button allows you to tag your pictures for emailing, for printing, or for putting in a favorites album. Go to review, and now push the share button, okay, and a screen will pop up, and it'll ask you, do you want to print that picture? Do you want to email it? Do you want to put it in a favorites album? So if you push print, it will ask you how many pictures you want to print. So if you have a Kodak printer dock, when you put it on the printer dock, it will automatically print those pictures that you said you wanted to print and the quantities that you told it you wanted to print them. So if you put email, tag it for emailing, and what you would do is when you use your EasyShare software, you would put in the folks on your email list, or even if you don't have the people on your email list, when you connect it to the computer using your EasyShare software, it knows that you want to email those pictures. So those pictures will automatically come up, and then it will ask you who you want to email it to. You can put them in your favorites album, and you have a favorites album on your computer, and you can also have some favorites on the camera here. The other button that's on this camera is the information button, and this button simply gives you all of the information regarding how the picture was taken. If you have it in the automatic mode, the flash is only going to be effective for about 7 to 10 feet. But let's say you're at the basketball game and you go to the concert or you go to wherever. If you turn the flash off, you could probably get an acceptable picture. Fill means that no matter what, the flash will always flash. So let's say, for example, you go somewhere and you're going to take pictures and it's kind of at sunset, and you're going to be within 7 to 10 feet of whoever you're taking pictures of. Depending upon how the light meter reads it, the flash may or may not flash. But if you always want to fill in the shadows, you can put the flash in fill mode. Is let's say, for example, you take pictures and your pictures seem to always come out a little bit too light. You could push this exposure compensation and see where it says plus 0.05. That will give you a half a stop more density in all the pictures that you take. Or if, for example, they always seem to come out a little bit too dark, you could go the other way and you could go minus 0.05, and then it will always make all the pictures that you take about a half a stop lighter. So the autofocus, the exposure metering rather, you can put it in multi-pattern, center weight, or center spot. And why would you want to change that? So if you have a multi-pattern, what it's doing is taking an average of the entire picture, and it is going to adjust the exposure based on the average of the whole picture. If you put it in center weight, it's going to do it based on what it sees in the center. And if you put it in center spot, sometimes that could be a good thing. For example, if you had somebody standing behind the window, because then you could put the spot right on the person and it will meter the person instead of the window. The newer cameras have something in them called face detection and autofocus. So you can see what happens is it automatically finds the face and focuses on it. This is called a backlit scene. You can see that it detected the face, so it knew that the subject wasn't this bright light, and so it automatically adjusted the exposure to give you better quality. So this shows you what it can do with face detection if you have a high ISO. So ISO is basically like film speed. Remember we had like 100, 200, 400? This is like putting 1600 speed film in your camera when you go to a high ISO basically. We have our Z series cameras, and the Z stands for zoom. So if you're an advanced picture taker, it allows you to do more things like adjust the aperture, adjust the shutter speed, and do those kinds of things. So we start out with this camera. It's a 12 megapixel, and it has 5 times optical zoom. Let's say, for example, you want to be able to blur a background. To blur a background, you need a really large aperture setting. So like the apertures, for example, like f1.4 or something like that, and then it will automatically adjust the shutter speed to give you good quality with that. This one steps you up to 12 times optical zoom. So it gives you can go out 12 times, whereas this one will only go out 3 times. This one will go out 12 times. And then it has what we refer to as optical image stabilization. So for example, for a lot of people who have trouble holding the camera steady, the optics will actually null out the movement and to give you sharper pictures. Then we have our M series cameras, and these are our small compact cameras. And this one is called the M1033, and this is one of the ones that does have that smart capture mode on it that I just showed you. And then we have the C763 and 813. All the camera models that we reviewed today are available online at jr.com. Please go to jr.com and review all the camera models and select the one that works best for your needs.